Propaganda Report. I'm Monica Perez, here with my co-host Brad Binkley and our special guest Adam Nutter, who I met. Hey, Adam.
Hey.
Who I met through Nate the Voluntarist. We've done
Yes.
some videos together. And that's a purely libertarian, want to talk politics and ideals and stuff. But every time I'm on there with Adam, I want to pick his brain about his experience in comedy and how being a libertarian, and especially in this cancel culture, how that impacts your work. And Binkley has a lot of experience in this area: comedy, improv, acting. And he said something really surprising to me recently, which shouldn't have surprised me. I hope you don't mind if I repeat this, Binkley, that you feel like the work that we do will probably put an end to any kind of acting roles you might be able to get. Is that valid? Is that how did I hear that correctly, Binkley?
I mean, not to any kind, but to certain ones, yeah,
Right.
definitely.
Okay. It didn't help. It doesn't help. Like, can we go on the record to say it's unlikely to help?
Yeah, I sent you guys the wrong link, by the way. I'm going to send you a better one.
Don't worry about it. But it's, and even, you know what? And maybe we can get into this. Like, it's unlikely to help in the current atmosphere, but I feel like the current atmosphere may be switching to a silo model where it's okay if you go out on a limb, as long as you're just preaching to the choir and your infectious ideas doesn't get out into the real world. So I want to ask you guys a little bit about what your experiences are. But Adam, first, may I ask you what what you basically you're dedicating your life, your career to entertainment, specifically comedy, and I think you're also podcasting. What drove you to that? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I was just drove me to comedy, like in general.
Yeah, like, how do you make a decision? Like, are your parents proud of you?
No, but they're still not. I make more money than they do, and they're still not.
I mean, were they happy with that decision? Did they pay for your high school or college? Like, what, it can't be an easy decision to make. That's what I'm saying. It takes some courage. Must be some passion behind it.
Yeah. So what happened was, like, I'm wearing my Staten Island hat. I'm from Staten Island, So like, I'm from there, and I always loved comedy, and I was like 18, and I was like, oh, I could legally go to a club now and try an open mic. I went to the Comic Strip, which is like a failing club now, which is like almost like a defunct. But it was like where Seinfeld started. It was like their claim to fame. Um, I did my very first open mic there. I fell in love with, like, comedy. I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. But then, I stopped at 20, took a real world job, which was, again, I said this before, but I was a cop in New York for 8 years, which mistake. And then
oh, really?
yeah.
That's a hard job to get, and people would kill for the security of it.
Yeah, well, so I mean,
maybe that's bad.
I tell everyone this because, like, I have to. I barely even talk about that part, but it was like, because it's hard not to talk about the comedy without that part, because it's like, well, why'd you stop doing comedy for 8 years? It's like, well, I was doing something else. It's like, well,
I got a ridiculously good job.
It was a good job for, like, benefits and stuff, sure, but, like, again, I say this all the time. I was 20.
People judge you when you tell them you're a cop.
Yeah, it's like, it's immediate, because I have to like go into, like, well, no, you guys don't understand. Like, I was 20, 21 years old. I hated bullies because I got bullied. That's when I learned how to fight and do MMA and all that shit, right? Like, at 18, 19 years old. So I was like, oh, I hate bullies. I'm like, I didn't understand, like, politics at 20. I didn't understand what the police were. I'm from Staten Island. That was like, Staten Island's like the only red part of New York City, like, right leaning. And they're like, no, you go get a government job. It's like,
who's a lieutenant in the cops in New York, or she's maybe retired. She lives in Staten Island, and she listens to my show. But my impression always was with New York, aside from the drug enforcement, like, there's a lot of, like, really bad stuff, especially when I was growing up in New York, that you can pretty much stay within, unless you're an anarchist like I am. But if you're just a minarchist, you can stay within the confines of legitimate law enforcement in New York. Like, you don't have, you're just putting out fires. You're not looking for trouble. That's the way my impression was when I was young. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, so this is kind of, so I also worked on Staten Island, and, like, I worked in the 122, and it was like a predominantly white precinct, as in, like, the population was, like, pretty much all white people. So I never dealt with really the race stuff that,
right.
I was working during the whole stop and frisk thing, but I just stopped and frisked white people, so no one gave a shit. Truth.
They were there like, well, if I'm not doing anything wrong, I'm happy to have you
Well,
frisk me.
it's not even that. It's like they would complain, but it's like shut up. Like no one, like they didn't care.
Yes.
Like, as in, I don't mean like I would tell them to shut up. Like, I mean, like no one would care. Like
Right.
like
They would
um.
complain, but it wouldn't matter.
And here's the thing: is like even again, I I never knew, again, at 20, 21 years old, I never knew what a libertarian was. I just knew I wasn't a Republican or a Democrat, right? I
Right.
knew I was this amalgam of, I guess, whatever the hell. And then once you get into the cops, you're like, oh, I'm here to help people. And they're like, yeah, we know, but we're not doing that. it's like, they're like, we got you. Now it's like a bait and switch. And
Yeah.
they're like, oh, you're here now, bitch. What are you going to do about it?
I
And
think
you're
the
like, fuck, you're
military
right.
is
And
like
then, like,
that too.
life hits you.
Yeah, I think the
Yeah, but like,
military
here's the
has
thing.
that.
Like, a lot of people buy into it, right? Like they buy into the whole like cop thing, and they're like, it's us versus them. And it's like, and then I was like, is it?
Well, you have to
Like, I thought we were supposed to
justify
be
what you
helping people.
do for a living.
So that
unless
was
you're
the
willing to leave it.
attitude of the cops, us versus them.
Not for everybody. No, not for everybody. Not for everybody.
Yeah.
Not for everybody. I'm saying that was definitely a overarching theme. Like we would say the NYPD, like as a
Yeah,
whole,
yeah,
a lot.
say
They
it.
would be like, hey, we're the biggest gang in New York. It's like, yeah, that doesn't sound great.
Bloomberg used to say it was his. He had one of the largest armies in the world.
He does. He's 35,000 NYPD officer, like in the NYPD, it's 35,000. That's most than some small armies.
Yeah.
So he's right, but so it's like, so when I got in there, you go in like being like, oh, I'm gonna help people, and they're like, no, you're not, and they're like, oh, okay, I guess I'm not. And then now, luckily, like again, I worked in Staten Island. I never had to deal with racial problems, so there was never really like any of that bullshit going on. So I just had to deal with just like people hating me for being a cop, which is fine. And I was like, I hate myself. I'm with you. And then
And I
it's
hate
like,
you too because
and
you're
then
a
you see,
jerk.
then so then I try to police like a libertarian, where I was like, I'm here to stop crimes I think matter. So like theft, robbery, assaults, right? Like things that we all agree that should be illegal no matter what
Right.
you believe in, right? Like we're all
Right.
libertarians here. We're like, well, those should be
Don't
illegal
touch me
anyway.
or my
We're
stuff.
all on
That's
board.
the rule.
Right. So I would just kind of police like that, where I was like, I would definitely take like a harder his background's all Star Trekky. I was like, I would definitely take a harder. I'm like, no, let me find the guy who beats his wife. Like, let me show that guy what's
Right.
up. You know what I'm saying? Because I also remember I have a whole wealth of MMA knowledge behind me. So it's like, yo, you want to hit woman? Well, fight me, bro.
Oh, you
So
already
like, I would do
had?
that. Like I would,
Oh, that's. Oh,
yeah.
so you did
Oh,
the
when,
MMA like
when I got on, yeah,
right
at 18 years
post-bullying.
old.
Got
So,
it. I understand.
so yeah. So when I became a cop, I was already like 4 years into training. So I was like, I'm pretty confident I could fuck up most people on the street. So it's like,
Because
and
you're
it's like I would
skinny.
use
For the
that,
people
though,
who are
to
just
like,
listening, you're skinny.
but hold on, back then though, I was also playing football, and I was also fighting like amateur. I was like 205.
Wow.
I was like muscle 205. I was like,
Wow, how
I was
tall are
like,
you?
now I'm 163, 6 foot.
Yeah, that's about
But
what I
now,
weigh.
now,
That's a
now I'm
comic's
scrawny,
weight.
yeah.
Really, you as a comic, you get skinnier and skinnier for sure.
Well, it's
For
the
more than a
drugs.
reason.
So,
Right, of course.
And the starvation
Yeah.
from not
Yeah.
getting paid.
So I
Well,
can
so,
imagine
hey,
being a
but
cop, like wanting to do material about that, but maybe worrying about facing
don't.
judgment from other cops or from the audience member or from the other comedians as well. So it's you don't do
Dude,
any about it.
No, Brad, I'll be honest with you. I had a few cop jokes early on, and I was like, no one's, but they weren't about being a cop. It was about a situation that was funny outside of being but no one heard it. They just heard cop, and it was like, boom.
Right. Yeah.
Or the other way, where they're like, we fucking love cops. And I'm like, you're not hearing the joke still. So either way, I'm not, it isn't working.
My first thought was, oh, I wonder if they tapped him for special ops. So like that was the first thing. Like, is he an undercover cop comedian?
No, it's well, don't forget, I also wasn't doing comedy when I was a cop. I stopped totally. I stopped totally doing comedy. Like, there was no way I had time, right? Like, I was also doing midnights. So no, I did comedy from 18 to 20, stopped, and then so the reason I'm not a cop anymore is because I got too many car accidents, too many concussions. So all the concussions from my car accidents, plus all my concussions from just years of football and MMA, it fucked me up. So
Why were you in a lot of car accidents?
So 2 out of the 3 I weren't driving. The last one I was, but the first one, we got hit by a drunk driver.
Oh.
Like, we were just driving, and a drunk
Yeah.
driver hit. Like there was
Yeah,
like it was
not
unlucky
cool.
the drunk. The second one we were going to a calls for help, and my buddy kind of hit a. It was raining, and he hit a rock, so
Right.
concussion.
Are you guys wearing seatbelts during this, or?
Yes, but when your head hits the side mirror, when the
Yeah,
side
yeah,
window, it doesn't matter. You can
yeah.
wear a seatbelt
Because
all
you
day.
can't. You don't have to wear seatbelts
No,
in
you
an
actually, yeah,
emergency
we did.
vehicle. Oh, we didn't. In the
No, but
beginning, it was
so
like that.
okay, so no, state law says no, but NYPD regulation says yes. You know what I'm saying? So like we were, but again, seatbelt stops this. It doesn't stop this. So my head hit the side window twice, three times actually. All three car accidents. That's what happened, or I hit the frame or something like that. So I never actually went forward. You know, I always went sideways, which is crazy. And then my last one, we were going to again cops were calling for help, and it's midnight, and I was going like 30, 35 with the lights on down the main road, and I'm slowing down on the intersections, but this girl, she was she was an adult, but she was young, just ran out in front of my car, and I was either like I kill her or I move. It was like
Was she
literally that
cute
split.
though?
Blur. Are blurs cute?
Well, maybe.
I mean, that's what you're into, bro. I don't king shame. Something like that. But like, no. So I swerved and I hit a light pole, and the light pole like hit the car. I blacked out. I came into oncoming traffic. Like we didn't get hit, luckily, but like that was the last day I worked. And then they were like, so now I have I get like headaches. I have like short-term memory problems. Like I have problems like remembering stuff and all that shit. So it sucks. Like, I definitely have a
What was I
problem.
saying?
Yeah, no, that's what happens to me all the time. That's why I say all the time. That's why I told you, like, remind me.
Oh, you literally said that, but I thought you were kidding.
No, it's very real. I really do have brain trauma. So like, I have a problem
Can I laugh
remembering
at you
stuff.
though
Yes,
for
I
that?
make fun of
Okay.
myself all the time for it. Um, so that was the end of my cop career, and then I was like, oh, comedy again. And then I've been doing comedy full time for the last 6 years.
So over these past 6 years, have you seen the changes in the PC-ness? Like, could you actually make funny jokes 6 years ago? Can you still like? And this is where I want Binkley. I want to hear Binkley's side of it too. But you go first, Adam.
The answer is, of course, yes, you can, and of course, yes, it's change, right? So you can still make funny now. For me personally, and this is obviously, and Brad can answer this too. Like, it's a personal. Every comic's different, so like, I don't really talk about anything controversial in the sense of like, I mentioned I'm a libertarian in one joke, and it's because it's important to the joke, where I talk about this Mexico trip I went on about in TSA with my wife. So it's a real quick upfront reference, but like, I don't want, because it's not like I'm not Dave Smith. I'm not like, he could do that. Like, he's great at making political commentary. He can make great libertarian, and also outside of just political commentary. He's a good comic, right? So he could do it all. It's not me. I can't. I could joke about politics here. I could be off the cuff funny. I could conversationally funny, but for me to sit down and make my whole act about, that's not me. I want to talk about like my life interactions I do, like funny drug things, like stories I've had, like funny wife stories I have with my wife, our differences. That's where I sit, and I like to make fun of myself. So no one's really gonna be like, that's controversial, really. And I think I like to keep it that way, because it's not worth it for me personally to be, and it's like, because it's not like comedy. If it was my comedy, then I would push those
Well,
boundaries.
that's what I'm saying. Like, if it isn't your comedy, then you're lucky, because I'm a huge fan of the good, clean joke. My mother has a couple of jokes about the Pope. I just love the good,
I
clean.
mean, I'm not
joke. Like,
clean by any stretch of the
no,
imagination.
I know,
but, like,
and I'm not clean, but
Yeah.
I like the good, like, and Binkley knows I'm a sucker for the straight man. Like, I like the stuff that's a little harder, because the shock value, the dirty stuff, the stuff you don't hear every single minute of the day, is it kind of lower hanging fruit. If you're Dave Chappelle, you can make fun of
Right.
Black culture for a while there. That's an easy
Right.
one. And, because the jokes that you're making, nobody else is making. So if that is your comedy, you could get a lot of low hanging fruit, but no one's allowed to do that anymore. And the work that you would do to kind of eliminate all the easy ones would be a little harder. But if you feel like you can do it, then you're ahead of the game. And are you like, is it easier or harder for you to book gigs? I guess since COVID, it's like impossible, right?
I mean, it's just hard right now. Like I'm just and now it's pretty much just like reaching out through friends, being like, "You got a show? Like, could I get on it?" It's like
Yeah.
that's kind of like what we're all doing.
How many
I mean,
shows are there though? Is it like a
it's coming back.
10%? Okay.
It's more. It's more. I mean, I live in Pennsylvania now, but like New York just reopened up. Like, Larry Sharp, a good friend of mine. Like, I know Larry. It's like he just sued Cuomo. He just put not even actually this was great. Him and the owner of Stand Up New York, which is a comedy club in New York. They both were going to sue Cuomo and Stay in New York for not having like live performances in New York, and Cuomo backed down like immediately,
When was this?
like
After he
a week
started
ago.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
recent.
Like a week ago, yeah, like
Yeah.
literally a week ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's coming back slowly. I've done a decent amount of shows for the last year, not obviously nearly as many as I would have been. Like
You
last
making
April.
COVID jokes?
No, because I think it's hack. Honestly, I
But
think
there's
it's fucking
nothing but
stupid and lame.
the past 12
Yeah, I
months.
would agree with that.
What do you have? And I mean,
Okay,
maybe not
so I have
COVID
one
jokes, but like
COVID.
what?
Okay,
what
I'll
is
tell
it?
you one COVID icebreaker joke. It's not even a joke, and like I hate doing parts of my act on podcasts, but it's not even an
Yeah.
act.
Oh,
it's just
sorry,
stupid.
hon.
Yeah, it's
It's
not.
It's just stupid. No, it's just
Why?
stupid. No, it's just because it's like
It's a different atmosphere. It's a different
yeah.
environment. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
okay.
this isn't really a bit. This is more of an
Yeah, no.
icebreaker. I was like, I'm a weed smoker, and I was like, my weed cough before COVID was like a dog whistle of the weed smoker. It's like, oh, you got weed. Now it's like people treat me like I have Ebola. It's like a whole different thing. But that's just like a
Yes.
small icebreaker out there that for people to be like, all right, COVID, weed, but that's it. It's the only because I don't want to talk about it. Like I feel like
Yeah.
you don't want to come see me talk about COVID. You
So-
dealt with that for a year.
But
Like,
here-
I like
here's
to
my
open up
question.
with abortion, yes or no. Just raise of hands.
now I like to eat the placenta. I don't know about
Yeah.
you guys.
But are you using old material, or do you
Yeah,
have new
fuck yeah.
material from this year? Okay,
Both,
because if you have
both,
Yeah.
new
both.
material from this
both,
year,
both.
is it about living with your mom, your wife 24/7? Like, what's the story?
Newer stuff was no, it was just still life experiences I had. Yeah,
Right.
like some stuff with the wife, like sure, but even just still meeting people out in public again stuff, and just again, like just observational stuff with that COVID or regardless of COVID or not, people could
Right,
find
resonate.
right. So it's like you can still do it. The first
Your wife
few
get
months were
mad at
hard.
you?
She hates me. Yeah.
Yeah.
What does
Thought
she
so. I
hate?
just-
That
That
you're
I'm home all the
time?
time because she's a teacher, so she's out in school. She's back working, and she's also like she stays late because she's
Yeah.
like she's a chairperson of her department, so she's like important, and like she's actually one of the good teachers because I
Yes.
hate
No.
teachers union.
I know
Yeah.
you can't. You got to watch that with cops and teachers and stuff. I know cops and teachers who work for the government who care about the Constitution. It's like the
So-
military and everything. You can't
Yes.
judge the whole
Mhm.
group at all. And the more that the government takes over every industry, what are you going to then hate nurses when the hospital is public? I mean, it's not about that. You can't. They take it over. What are you going to do if it's your calling to teach and that's where the jobs are and that's the only way you're going to live? You
Well,
can't
Monica,
judge
here's the thing: is like you're so here's the thing. So she's a private Catholic school teacher, so it's not government.
right.
She's the chairperson of the theology department, so she's
Wow.
yeah. But and I'm not saying this because we're married. I swear I will trash
she a
her if she
nun
deserves
or a
it.
former
No,
nun?
not at all. Not at all. She's a super hot blonde chick.
And she's a pot smoker, I assume.
But
Does not never. I was just kidding. Not
No,
a
it's
pot
fine.
smoker.
Yeah, you can't-
Just
Okay.
kidding.
It's fine. No, but like I see. I'm not saying this because she's my wife and I love her, but like I see how hard she works and how much time she puts in, and like she literally sometimes will be grading and working till 8, 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and like she's exhausted, and then some of her not in her department, but like some of her coworkers will be like, I don't want to go back to work, and it's like you're in Jersey on vacation right now.
Right.
So
It's like the
are
teachers
you-
unions that are promoting, they're advocating for not going back because they're afraid they're going to
Exactly it.
die.
That's exactly
But
it. So
I
I
don't
see
even
that.
think they are afraid they're going to die.
they're
I
not.
think
They're
they
lying.
don't want to
Yeah.
go back,
No,
and
that's
they
it.
know
Definitely
that
lying.
that's how.
That's 100% it, Monica and Brad. But so I see that and I go, oh, I hate you. Not hurt my wife. I go, I hate the teachers. You guys are fucking just like the cops. I go, yeah, I was one of the good ones at the time, and I know, and some of my friends were, but I know a lot of guys who were fucking assholes. So the overarching group or it's like, yeah, your coworkers are overall trash, and like
I
that
mean,
sucks.
bankers, lawyers,
Yeah.
realtors, like everybody, their assholes come in every job description.
hmm But like stereotypes also exist for a reason. So it's like
Yeah.
I always say this: the three worst unions in the country, in no particular order: police, teachers, and medical. Three worst, because they all defend each other's bullshit. They all back each other up for nonsense. The guys who do stand up for the right thing get fucked. They get fucking thrown in the bus and fucking their careers ruined.
That's like the worst thing to do, is to stand up for the right
Exactly.
thing in a union. You'll get screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the police and the teachers and healthcare was an example too. But the problem with those is that, and even FDR was against this. If you have a government employer and unionized employees, no one's really pushing back against the union. The elected official doesn't care.
Right.
It's not like a guy owns a company and the union is trying to get more out of him. It's like a tug of war. But with the government as the employer, there's nobody on the other end of the rope. That's why
Right.
municipalities go bankrupt. And that's
Right.
why the taxpayers hate those people. And that's why then they get hostile towards it. It's inherently not what unions should be for.
Yeah, and that's always like, obviously, like of course the what about the road argument, when it's like, well, the government doesn't have an incentive to do a good job. So it's like that's the same thing for all of it. It's like, well, they don't have an
Yes.
incentive to do a good job because there's no consequence for them to do a good
And
job
they
or
then
bad
have
job.
an
So
incentive to maximize driving, which the environmentalists should absolutely hate, because that gets them more money and more payola. And
Right.
if you looked at the Hunter Biden thing, they were negotiating deals with Chinese people and flouting or bragging about the politicians.
I pray for
they-
Hunter Biden every night. I feel bad for him, and he can't get a break, that guy.
yeah, I know, that's a millionaire for just doing crack with Lady Gaga. It's crazy. Allegedly. Sorry, I don't want to get sued,
Yeah,
but
I saw
allegedly.
that too. That video. It's
Yeah.
There's a lot of interesting Hunter Biden material out there that I don't think a lot of people are aware of.
Yeah, it's but anyway, but Bonnie, it's your comedy thing. I was just like, yeah, so it's like, yeah, so you could I still definitely make new jokes about new stuff for sure. You can still make jokes like, I'm sure, Brad, Aaron Berg and stuff like that is like, Aaron Berg is a fucking great comic, and he's pretty dirty, and he gets away with it because he's fucking funny,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you're funny, you could do it. It's like what Patrice O'Neal used to say, unfunny jokes and funny jokes come from the same place. They're all
Yeah.
meant to be funny.
Yeah, and the vulgarity aspect of it. I remember when I first started doing comedy a long time ago. I did this bad joke that I only did it in front of other comics because I didn't do it for every crowd, but it was just I was impersonating a comedian that was trying to do like a joke at like a funeral, and it bombs. And then he just lets out a slew of obscenities afterwards just to compensate. Fuck, shit, damn, cunt, fuck, shit. And because that's just that's the type of vulgarity that does not work well, because it's not it's just a bailout.
You'll see a comic like struggling, bombing on stage, and they'll just start saying fuck as
Right. Yeah.
So, and instead of saying they'll be like, fucking, the tree and the fucking car and the cat hit the fucking,
Yeah.
right, guys? It's like, hey, man, calm down.
Yeah.
And people are like, this is bad, you're cursing. It's like, yeah, because he's panicking. But like, if I could be like, hey, they were fucking trees or whatever, and how I say it in my cadence and my point, people are like, oh, all right. It's all how it's done. It really is all how it's done. So it's like, like, again, not reference to Patrice O'Neal again, but back when he was arguing on Fox News against other, like woman rights people, and they're like, are rape jokes funny? He's like, have you ever heard a funny rape joke? He's like, yeah. He's like, of course I have. He's like, and I have too, of course, but I also heard terrible ones.
Who did the whole routine about it, right?
Who?
Do what? Oh,
didn't you have like a rape victim whose routine was?
Yeah, well, I know somebody who, they tell you in comedy, you'll get advice sometimes that, you're going to pull from your life. And sometimes people go all the way with that, and they go all the way too serious with it. And this person had a slew of rape jokes based on her experience. And some of them were quite clever. However, the way she did them, it was way too dark, way too early. I actually think if she works on it, she's a newer comedian. I think she can make it pretty good because she is clever, but she's just way too like in your face with the whole
Yeah.
concept of it. It just she doesn't. Yeah, you have to get the audience ready for something like that. You have to feel out if they're ready for something like that, and if they're not, then you have to go to the next stuff.
Yeah, there's a comic in the Philly scene, and she has like a 9/11 joke because she was in Manhattan during 9/11. And again, I was in Staten Island during 9/11, so I get it. But it's like, I was like, yeah, but you're just talking about 9/11. Like, like there's not really too much comedy here. People are like, oh, we're just gonna talk about 9/11. Like, what are we doing? Now,
Yeah,
I just recently wrote a joke about my wife and her job and teachers, and when I was in school during 9/11, and it works because it's not focusing on 9/11 and just talking about 9/11 like she is. So again, everything, you could do anything, but it's how you fucking do it. So
right.
I just reference it, and I'm telling you, it's been working. It's new and it's been working. It's like, oh, I think I got something with this joke. So I'm like, all right, but again, I'm talking about 9/11 in it, but it's like, it's just how it goes about. Now, the way she did it, people are getting like offended. I see people that get like, oh, their feelings hurt. Like, I know someone like, who died in 9/11. And then so far with my shit, no one's been sad. Everyone's been laughing. So it's like, yeah, it's how you do it. It's all how you do it all the time. It's no topic is off limits. It's just completely how it's done.
Yeah. Pete Davidson, I wonder if he does 9/11. In fact, I think I heard him do 9/11 jokes. You said Staten Island. It made me think of Pete Davidson. I know his dad died at 9/11, and he does have a few jokes about it, which is a dark subject. But I don't remember what they were specifically, but I think they were pretty funny, the ones I saw anyway. What do you think of Pete Davidson? I'm not a huge fan, but I think some of his stuff is all right. Some of his stand up.
I don't know him personally. He's much younger than me. We're both from Staten Island. he's wildly successful. I mean, so obviously, I just think I don't know.
Does he make you laugh?
Stop trying?
Yeah, I get that sense too sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. So he also, I don't know. I'm just not the biggest fan of Pete Davidson, but I don't personally know him, so I don't want to shit on him or anything. I don't know.
Yeah, he's all right. He's the whole SNL and late night with Colbert and all that. It's just so bad right now because they're to try to be so political with everything, and they're basically just repeating the same things that other people are saying. And I see other comedians on social media. Not all of them. There's some that do the same, and then there's the others that are calling out a lot of the shit. And I feel like there is a market now that you spoke to this earlier, and I feel like it's getting bigger for people who will call out stuff and who are willing to do the type of comedy they want to do, because people are craving real entertainment and not just CNN repackaged as stand-up on late night TV.
Yeah, I also think like SNL also has like that. They're just hitting they're beating the horse, right? So it's like they're like, and now that Trump's gone,
yeah,
they're still trying to make Trump. And everyone's like, we don't give a shit. Like,
right.
It's like, but that and a lot of people, like Ryan Long talked about it. He did a whole sketch about this, how like,
he's funny.
All these guys, yeah, he's great. Like, what are all these guys going to talk about? All these bloggers going to talk about once Trump's out? And it's like, yeah, he nailed it. Like, they got nothing.
Yeah,
they have nothing to talk about. Like, they're like, oh, well, how about Trump? And it's like, oh, okay. Well, how about Trump? And then, oh, okay. It's like, we don't care. What else you got? Can you be funny? Oh, you can't. Your whole personality was fuck Trump.
Well, from the first talent minute, there was that funny like montage. What was it, Binkley? Where was it an actual montage, or was it somebody mocking where all the jokes were, yeah, have you seen Trump? Like, he's orange,
yeah.
Or
I used to go and watch all the shows, Kimmel and Colbert and Fallon, because I wanted to see if they were doing the exact same joke. They were definitely doing the cover and hitting the same topics, and the point of view was basically the same. And there was a while there where they were, outside of a few words rearranged, doing like the same set. And
like almost like they had a wire, like an AP for jokes.
Almost like they had a propaganda goal. They had to deliver it down, and because I just can't imagine a comedian knowingly and being okay with it doing the same set almost as two other late night TV show comedians. But when you think about it from the propaganda perspective, repetition was the goal.
Also, if it's at the same time, if it's on competing networks rather than serially,
Yeah.
nobody's gonna hear
Right. No one's gonna know.
that way. They make sure everybody hears the joke, and it doesn't matter because you can't hear it in the both places at the same time. Now we have TiVo. Obviously, it's not critical, but
we could all. I think we all agree. Once you hit, first of all, you sacrifice yourself as a comic if you want to hit that level of mainstream success. Like, I can't be the next Jimmy Fallon, and I'm fuck my talent level, right? Forget it. Like, let's say I could be the funniest person alive. Okay, I'm saying I can't be because I will never bend my knee. I'm like, no, I'm a libertarian. I'm a hardcore libertarian. I'm a fucking ANCAP libertarian. Fuck the system. Fuck you. Fuck your corporations. I'm not gonna be like fucking suck the dick of the fucking man. You know, I'm not doing it. Like, so
and you get unfunny that way. Then the unfunny
right.
guys,
Did
or
you
they
see
take
Jimmy Kimmel like sticking up for Wall Street.
It's so
Yeah.
bad. Yeah.
It's like, who are you? You were
Yeah,
a comic at one
it's-
point.
Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle too. Like, as soon as you
Yeah.
could just see the moment that they were like, all right, I'll take the money.
Chappelle less so, I think.
But
than
he
others.
did, when he did it, and that's fine.
Right.
He only has to. I don't even blame him. He's not. It's not
I
that
don't either.
bad. But they're definitely like, look, okay, you don't have to wear a dress. He has that whole thing.
Right.
Like, they wanted me to wear a dress. You don't have to wear a dress, but you have to say one thing like this once in a while, and you can't do the junky puppets anymore.
Man,
Like, it's just a little bit. But I don't think you can really tap into your genius under those kind of constraints, and they know it, and they don't care. And we were talking to Chrissy Mayer a little bit ago.
Yeah.
Who she's I don't know if I don't think she really considers herself a Republican, but she doesn't care. Like, she just and she said the exact same thing. I'm never ever gonna make it like that. Because I'm never going to do that. And you know what? I almost feel like they let you make it like that so that they can neutralize people who really could actually tap a vein like that. So why would you take Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock, who are really, really funny, and feed them lines that aren't really funny? You could find any schmo on the street to feed them dumb lines and host the Oscars or whatever. Why take the funniest guys and take the funny out of them? Because that's what gives them the power. I sometimes wonder about that, about if that's why they have affirmative action programs at Harvard or whatever.
I love when the dogs come in. Yeah.
He just
fun and
got.
games till somebody's
I know
in a
he just got his
cone.
manhood neutered, unfortunately.
Oh, that's why he's got the
poor
thing on.
schmoopy.
Yeah, we couldn't stop it, unfortunately.
What's his name?
It's so he's a rescue. He's like 2.5. So his name is Pinto.
What a
And I'm not
sweet
gonna
rescue.
change his name now. It's
Yeah.
fucked up. It's
Yeah, I know, it is.
It's that's like going like it's like being 15 years old and be like, hey, we're changing your name from Kyle. You're Brad now. It's like, what?
Right. Yeah. They adopt you
Pinto
and
might
change your
not have
name.
been his name.
No, it definitely is. Because
it
he
was his
responds.
name.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
it was because he responds
Got it.
like he responds to it. And I'm not gonna be like, your name is Bane now, whatever I want to call him, whatever nerd name I want to call him. So it's
Clark Bane.
yeah. So no, but that's Penta. He's cool. He's cool as shit. I love him.
The thing about Kimmel is that Kimmel was on the freaking Man Show when he started
Yeah.
his career.
Well, he also did
And now he's a
blackface
big
on that
social
show.
justice warrior. Do what?
He did blackface on that show too.
Yeah. Yeah. Karl Malone. He used to make fun
Yeah,
of
he
Karl
did Karl
Malone all the
Malone. Yeah,
time.
yeah.
He did full like black body.
Hey. Sorry, my dog's knocking over the gate already. Sorry.
Just hit mute. Hit mute so that we don't have to hear you
Sorry.
yell at the dog.
Yeah. Kimmel, for those who don't know, he was on the Man Show with Adam Carolla. Did you ever watch that, Monica?
Yes, I remember that from way back then. Was that before or after he was with Ben Stein as the sidekick on the game show?
I think that was
it
after he was. I think it was
Yeah, I
after
think
Ben
the Man Show,
Stein.
Adam Carolla, yeah, that was big for him.
And
I'm sure
Adam
that was
Carolla is
fun.
like on the other end of it as Kimmel. Adam Carolla is very non-PC.
Yeah,
But
but he
they had
went
chicks
the
dancing on
funny show.
trampolines, bouncing up and down.
They
It
had
was
mud wrestling.
Adam Carolla went very much anti-PC.
yeah, he
I
did.
mean, he's pretty openly like anti-cancel culture.
Yeah,
has
he
been
is.
on
He's
the
funny.
podcast for a while.
He's one of the
Before
well,
Rogan.
him, Marin, Rogan, they're like considered like
Podfathers.
yeah.
That's Adam Curry is they say the true Podfather.
Yeah.
Or he
Yeah,
may-
that,
yeah.
yeah.
But those
let's
guys
be
were all
honest.
there in the beginning. Yeah.
Who has a bigger name, Rogan or fucking Adam Curry, bro?
Well,
It's like-
definitely Rogan.
Yeah, of course.
but
So it's like,
Adam Curry did
Yeah,
appear on
Rogan's
his
another
podcast
one.
and
I
stuff.
mean,
Yeah.
when Neil deGrasse Tyson schooled him about the moon landing, it was like, I don't blame him. I don't blame Rogan for being like, fine, that I'll just not believe, I'll believe the moon landing now. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, Rogan still has Alex Jones on stuff though.
But Alex Jones is there to make his ideas seem insane. Adam Jones is his own whatever control opposition. He just makes those ideas seem silly, or he sandwiches truth between two insane theories.
But do you think that like he's only but he wouldn't be on, like, if Rogan was like compromised, like, like compromised, like we say, like he like gave up his like values and shit, wouldn't he not even let him on the show then, you think?
No, but you want Alex Jones on the show. You probably don't want Adam Carolla on the show. You don't want me on your show. You want Alex Jones.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Right.
9/11 was an inside job, and aliens are whatever.
It's all about taint agents. The term you created, taint agents.
Oh, taint agent. Yes, a taint agent.
Well, it's like the whole that's where conspiracy is like came as the CIA way to like make people sound crazy, right? Like the word conspiracy.
Oh yes,
was like a CIA like
for JFK.
Yeah.
It's
like a whole thing, which is interesting.
Yes, so that's what they're very sophisticated. Binkley reads a lot of stuff about how they do propaganda, their spy tactics. I read a lot of stuff about actual the documentation about, I was just reading one about MK Ultra and all this like real documented stuff. They go very deep with the psychology and sociology of propaganda, from deciding what groups are going to be hit in what ways to make sure that different groups get certain pieces of propaganda and only those certain pieces of propaganda. They cognitive infiltration was Cass Sunstein, which was Obama's information czar. Like, we need an information czar. Said what you do is you go to these conspiracy theory websites and you inject something crazy into the comment section or whatever. Like, that's literally in his memo. So that's exactly, to me, defines Alex Jones. And I'm not saying that Alex Jones is in on it, because if you look at, I read a book called Conjuring Hitler, and it said how the British wanted to undermine German society, but not topple the interrelationships among the bankers in England and Germany and stuff. And in all those years, with 60 million people dead, they never stopped funds flows. The money always kept flowing. So they had to there were a lot of unrest because there was political turmoil at the time in Germany after World War I. And they cast about to find a grassroots leader who would actually destroy the culture without destroying the hierarchy. And so they identified Hitler as one of those people. I think they probably identified 20 people like that. And they cultivate them. And the one that works is the one, they can just let it go after that. So for me, I don't necessarily think taint agents are witting as.
And they make it a competition too. They put them in positions where they can organize. So maybe they'll have Stacey Abrams when she was younger, or you're going to see if you can organize your college during the Rodney King riots. Did a good job there. The next time, maybe it's a corporation she's organizing around for a labor union. Then it's organizing blocks for voters for the governorship. And then it's trying to turn Georgia blue. So as they showed their ability, they went out over some of the other activists. They all go to these activist training schools, like these very exclusive schools where they learn these skills. And then the cream of the crop rises to the top, so to speak.
Yeah. Like, I always think Ted Cruz and Trump and Hillary were all in the running, really, because they all would serve the purpose of either having the pendulum swing, creating a reaction, but whatever, or testing the waters and seeing which of the scenarios. They literally run scenarios. Rockefeller Foundation, World Economic Forum, they literally run scenarios, and maybe they throw out these crazy things just to see how far they can go. Is that
we have a comment?
Now? Are you kidding?
That's Edmund that was doing that. It's my dog.
Samson,
we have a comment from
Cat
Duckness. She says it's like dark marketing for life control. This is a comment on Rockfin.
Dark marketing? I don't
like what we were just talking about. It's like dark marketing
for
life control.
As in, like it's like you're pitching like an ad, but like a negative ad to control life, as
Yeah,
opposed to
yeah,
like a positive ad to control. I guess
think
that's
so,
kinda
yeah.
what-
I
I
don't
think it's
understand
kinda,
what you're saying.
so in other words, like the way they're kind of orchestrating it, right? It's like a negative cloud around us to bring the negative out of us instead of like a positive. I think is what she's trying to say. Like
Oh,
the
yeah.
control is always negative as opposed to the positive. I think is what she's trying to say.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm sure
Propaganda
you're
is
right.
similar
Yeah.
to marketing to control our lives. It's all the
But,
media
I
in the
mean,
world.
look at what they did for Biden though. Like how the media just propagate. I wrote this down because I thought it was very interesting. And this is fun for all my fucking dumb liberal friends who fought me for I don't know 3 months before the election about how dumb I am for saying that Trump and Biden are both equally awful. And then I was wrong. I was wrong. Biden I think is worse because here's why.
Yeah, I agree
No,
with you.
but by the way, it's not even like I agree with all of these on the list. I'm just
Right.
saying these are all things that he promised these fucking idiots that they
Yeah.
voted for and that he did not follow through. So, no $15 minimum wage, bomb Syria, threatened Iran, cancel the pipeline, which caused loss of jobs, gas prices higher, and Canada is also mad at us because they also were part of that deal. He lifted the trans ban in the military, and now suicide rates among those soldiers overseas rose drastically. Kids in cages, but they're facilities now. And they just got boosted up to 100% capacity yesterday. Still operating private prisons, a huge number of deportations, catch and release program during a worldwide pandemic. Biden canceled Operation Talon. You guys know what Operation Talon was? Operation Talon was put in by Trump to purposely target and get rid of pedophiles and deport them. And then Biden canceled it because,
He
you
did.
know, can't have too many pedophiles running around this country. And then also no UBI or Medicare for all. But hey, guys, I'm glad Trump's out.
I mean, that you
Well, I'm
sound a
glad
lot
for
like
most of
a
this.
white nationalist Nazi right now criticizing Biden. I have to put that out there.
That is true.
And
You're
they're
clearly a
already starting to
racist.
blame the Syria bombings on Trump. Biden had to bomb Syria because of Trump, because Trump pulled the
because
troops
Trump
out of
did
there.
it.
And
Crazy.
did you see the story? We talked about this, Monica and I did on the show yesterday, that they had a story about Biden, and the story was Biden stopped a second attack on Syria while the missile was in the air when he found out there were women and children on the ground. And then it said, and the first strike was from the advice of his defense secretary. So Biden saved the children, blamed the first bomb on the black guy.
Yep. I actually sent a tweet out trying to find it. I think it was just a bunch of laughing emojis and totally believable.
Right, yeah.
That's what I wrote because that's fucking bullshit.
It's total bullshit.
And then you know what he did? Then he saved a family from a burning fire.
Right.
A
Yeah.
house fire. Biden
personally.
kicked the fire himself and was like, you, and put the kid on his shoulder. Shut the fuck up. Like,
He smells the hair while it's still on fire.
it's
Are you
nuts.
kidding about the fire?
Yes. That was
Okay.
me trying to be funny.
No, because that's how ridiculous the propaganda is these days.
Right. It's a great point. Like that article could have been in the Onion. And I would have
Right.
laughed my ass off.
Right.
When I read it, I thought it was the Babylon Bee. I was like, funny.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is CNN. Okay.
And my point, I mean, not to make the actual point, but the first one clearly killed innocent people. That's what bombs do.
They all do.
There's not a bomb that ever went off that did not kill an innocent person. That's just what they're for. There no convicted criminal has ever been killed by a bomb. So that's
No, they have just with other people. They
Yes,
also
yes.
have. They've been
Yes,
with
that's true.
others.
Okay, so not everyone killed by a bomb is innocent, but there is no way that his previous bomb was justifiable. And it's just funny because he said it was self-defense against Syria,
Right.
And I have to say, we do have the air raid siren every once in a while for all the Syrian attacks on LA. I don't know.
Right. Oh, how about if remember when Trump bombed the Syrian commander, and then if you look at all their tweets from back then, like what's your Psaki, his press secretary?
Yeah.
He's like, do we even have
Psaki, yeah.
legal authority to bomb Syria? I don't know, bitch. Do
Right.
we? Tell me.
And
Well,
that,
Like,
Biden
now
they,
we
cited
do
the
4 years
UN.
later, you fucking bitch. You
yeah,
know,
they
it's
throw
like,
it in your
what?
face too, because it's so you can pull the tweets up. It's like if they leave it
They
there
don't
just so
care.
we can find it and just have our minds be like, what the contradiction, the hypocrisy, getting the public just okay with it. Just this logic
Well,
proof
that
compartments in their brains.
yes, it really goes to this thing that I see. Not only do they have people, my attention span has diminished by 90%. Like I will sit there, I can tweet for an hour and a half. I try to read a book, and a page in, I'm tweeting again. And I'm like, what? Where did this come
Right.
from?
Yeah.
It's awful. So the kids are like that. And then layered on top of not being able to pay attention enough to anything, there's this like terrifying fear of ostracism for not saying or thinking the right things, almost to the point where be like the way teenagers want to be fashionable, like you have to wear your cuffs a certain way or whatever. You have to think the thing or it's slang, the way slang changes quickly. As soon as I would pick up on a slang of my kids, it has to move on because my mom just said it.
Yes,
That's how these
absolutely.
thoughts, that's what these thoughts are. You almost need to stay ahead of it to prove that you are totally plugged in and, one of like the cool kids.
I want to follow up with Kat. She explained a little bit. She was talking about like if we were in marketing, talking about the targeted groups to control their lives through the propaganda, targeting those specific groups. And absolutely, it's brain control that is hitting different segments of the population. But she had an interesting term. She called it's like live sociological games, propaganda is. And that is, it's like they're playing a game with the entire country of their world at this point, and they're just some social scientist in an ivory tower somewhere, rubbing their hands together, collecting all the behavioral data.
Yes. And it's a war game, because this goes right to what I think about 9/11. So I think basically, to encapsulate it in one stylized sentence, I think Dick Cheney did 9/11. And I think that he did it the same way in the same mindset as other presidents have instituted the draft. That they're like, we're going to take people who are not volunteering and we're going to kill them for our political purposes, which are so unpopular that no one would actually sign up for it. But we're doing it for some kind of greater good.
Well, right.
And I feel like, so to the extent, and even like when you read some of Churchill's stuff, he's like that. He's like, I can't wait to have war. War is great.
Yeah,
I
he
love war.
Loves
Everyone
war.
loves war. Who's a politician?
Yeah. They have to, and this is what really freaks me out about the elites, especially if it comes to chemtrails or illness or bad food or anything that might actually hurt everybody. I was raised thinking, there, but for the grace of God, go I. Why do you care about poor people? Because you might be poor, or you're lucky you're not that poor. Or why do you care about immigrants? Like, what if you're from a shithole country and you want to get out? Like, you should care about those people. Like, there's a karmic or moral or whatever. And it seems to me these people feel like, well, I've already been born, therefore abortion is fine. And I'm not making a comment about any of that stuff, immigration or abortion or anything. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, for you to be so elite about a draft or war or destroying society, you have to believe that your descendants or the people you care about are above it and that you can insulate them going forward, or you have to go full baby's blood and be willing to sacrifice your own descendants, which when you dig into some of that occult stuff, that comes up many times, that the kids they get are their own. Now,
they get rid of the dumb one that they
some of it is,
if
you look at who shot Reagan, it was the kind of off-kilter brother or son of a Bush friend.
Yes, the Hinckleys. Yeah. Oh, Bush wasn't Bush Senior out to dinner with like his father that night or something like that.
Or the brother went to lunch.
Whatever the fuck. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, it's all wild shit.
With Prescott Bush?
No.
Oh, okay.
Prescott Bush was
he was the Nazi banker.
Era.
Yeah.
HW.
Good old Nazi era, the Bush family.
There's definitely like
isn't that
Nazi
crazy that people kind of
undertones
brush that off?
It's not
Prescott.
But it's crazy again. But just talking about, we just have people brush off like Obama bombing 88% innocent people. Like no one gives a fuck.
20,000 bombs a year for Obama.
Small
was
bombs,
4
though.
years
Small
ago.
bombs.
Small
Right?
bombs.
Yeah, Monica, tell them the story about the cabinet.
So I was in a limousine. Literally, it was a limousine liberal. I got a black car, from the city, and the driver was just. I thought it was insane that he was like just spouting off about politics. I was
That's
like, "Is this
pretty
your last day on the job?"
I'm gonna kill myself soon.
Exactly. And you're coming with me. So he's going on, and I was just like, "Hey, buddy, I don't care if you like Obama and hate whoever else, but Obama, just so you know, dropped 20,000 bombs this year and last year on Syria." And the guy said they were very small bombs.
Hilarious.
So I was
funny.
like, okay, what's your address? Because he has an extra one. It's very small, and maybe you could just drop it on your house.
Dude, I'd be like, yo, can I open up for you? Because you're the funniest guy of all time.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I mean, that's like, and you know what's scary? That's a real thought he had. Like that was, he wasn't trying to be. I wasn't there. I can't get.
No, he was dead serious. He was a little
he wasn't
pissed
trying to
off.
be facetious or coy.
No.
He was being, but we've also had people like that where you're like, well, they're lying, and then here's the proof, and then and they'll be like, well, I don't think so. I go, what does that mean? Oh, I don't think so.
I have a perfect example.
Cognitive dissonance. Yeah.
I have to use it. So for years I was on the radio on the conservative channel, like the kind of Rush channel. And Obama was president, and I would go on and on about the Bill of Rights. He's not commander in chief until called into actual service. And this is the Fourth Amendment, what it looks like. Go on and on. 3 hours long was my show. I would get callers, Republicans, the entire time reading the Constitution to me, like big snaps for your Bill of Rights stuff. The day Trump took office, this is a quote. When I said the thing about the commander-in-chief, he's not the commander-in-chief unless he's called into actual service. That is a quote from the Constitution. The answer was, you are quibbling about semantics.
After getting quoted all day.
Yeah. I was reading from the Constitution. It's not that long. It's really short. There's no semantics. It's just like it says in 3 words what the truth is.
Yeah, what about ism, whatever.
No, that argument boils my blood because my wife will do that to me with some things. We'll be arguing, and she's like, well, you know what I meant when I said it. I'm like, well, you said this. And she's like, no, that's not how I meant it. I go, well, you said a thing, so I took it exactly how you fucking said it. And then she'd be like, well, you should know better. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. We all agreed upon a lexicon and fucking English language that we use.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be like, well, now we don't use that now. Yeah. It's like,
what women? Well, what my
women, they
does
do that a lot. They don't necessarily mean what they say.
Okay, what my husband does is he denies that he said it.
Yeah, I do too. But that's not what talking about us. Talking about you guys.
We're not going to be friends anymore if you generalize.
I'm kidding. No, I'm totally kidding.
Not you, Adam. We can be friends, but Binkley, I can't be friends.
No, not all women, not all the time, of course, but it just from time to time, it's he's right.
Suffers from stereotypes about women. It's yours truly. I would say that if I'm judged by the standards that people impart to women, then I am getting misjudged regularly.
Sometimes a woman that you're in a relationship with just expects you to know, and we can't read minds.
That is true.
Every boss I ever worked for wanted me to read his mind.
Oh, really? Yeah,
because we.
I'll
tell you why. Because you guys are better than us, and we expect more.
Nice save, Adam. Binkley, come on, you got to remember that.
Yeah, I got that one definitely down. But yeah, we have a lot of flaws, definitely.
We have a double standard because you're superior. That's nice. It's like women in men's sports. Like women in the sport of argument have to be handicapped. Yeah, you get your own league because we can't compete.
No, because it's like, honestly, because I'll out argue in other words, like if I get into an argument with my wife, I'll talk myself into losing, even though I could be right. I'm like, oh, God damn it. Like she beat me because she's better at this.
Oh, I do that
Right.
to the point where I feel so
Yes.
guilty when I'm winning an argument, even though I'm wrong. And my
Yes.
husband laughs at this, that I will tell him, I'm like, what you're supposed to say now, like the counter argument is this. Like he laughs and tells jokes at parties. He's like, if I'm losing the argument and like she knows she's wrong, she will feed me the line.
Yeah. So I'm saying you guys are fucking geniuses, and we just stay within our like we don't have there's no filter, so
Yeah.
we're like fucking clouds are
Yeah.
weird, and we're like what? and then you guys are way smarter than that, and you're like, well, clouds are like vapor, and you're like, I'm like,
You
okay.
just described the
Like,
what the
I
chemical
am
makeup
not-
of a
that's the whole
cloud.
thing. It's like
I'm
yeah.
not going to fall for the you guys are smarter thing. That
No,
I'm not going to do.
I'm being sincere. I'm
But
dumb.
We do have
That's what-
different, we probably do have different styles that you could generalize against the mass of the population, but I'm such an individualist that I hate to be referred to in the collective.
No, I mean I am
I'm
too,
not
but
doing it.
again, it is funny. Again, stereotypes do exist for a reason. Because
Yes, yes, yes,
again,
yes.
when you sometimes you paint with that broad brush,
Yes.
even if you're in that category and you're like, I want to be in
Yeah.
that category, but party's like, okay, well that's
You're
me too.
Oh, PMS is
You know,
real.
you're-
I will
yeah,
tell
you're
you
like,
this
well,
right
I know,
now.
it's,
Like,
I do that.
I have male and female children and my own experience. I have 8 brothers and sisters. There's absolutely hormones have power.
Oh yeah,
There's
yes. they
no
do.
question about that. It
You
is-
do.
My wife is 5 foot, 125-pound blonde chick, and I am scared of her. And I used to fight men in cages. And she's horrifying. I fucked up paint on the wall one time, and she's like, "Fix it." Like, okay. I was like, "I'm sorry." It's like,
You,
"Oh,
you did
can't
what?
yell
You
that."
did what on the wall?
I
You
fucked
said
up.
you meant-
I fucked up painting the wall one time,
Oh.
Yeah.
and
I thought you
she
said you
was like,
peed on the wall. I was
I
like,
did
wait.
think but she didn't take it well, right? I mean, that's just, she wasn't like, oh, could you fix that? She was like, what is your, this was, okay, this
Yeah.
is how bad I had it once. There was a commercial. It was for PMDD. So it's for if you're a complete effing psycho, which I definitely had my years of that. And the ad was the chick was brushing her hair and the guy was in the doorway in the bedroom and he came in and he was just in the door. He's like, what are you doing? And she turns around, she's like, what the fuck? What the hell are you talking about? What am I doing? Isn't it obvious what I'm doing? Like, what do you want? And I'm sitting there watching it and I was like, she's totally right. So she was being that nobody thought that was funny.
No,
She
I'm
was-
sorry. Yes, I always laugh out loud sometimes. I'm sorry, I'm a comic. I'm dead inside from laughing.
She was
So-
she was depicted as a psycho.
Yeah.
And I so totally identified with her that I thought she was right.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, yeah. But I also will look at psychopathic behavior on TV sometimes. I'll be like, this guy got it right, and people are like, what? He's crazy. I'm like, yeah, totally. I was kidding.
Yeah.
Cedric just said that Bill Cosby was a hero. So
No, that's what I say. Well, yeah, I tell people, my friends to go on a date, I'll be like, just tell her to open up with, I watch Cosby. It's my favorite comedian. Him and Lucy Kay, my 2 favorite comedians. And I love Harvey Weinstein movies.
It was like when we were on Tripoli, people have said this to me, or was
Oh,
it
yeah.
you who was saying this? Where we had the privilege of being on Sam Tripoli's show together, and we were talking about something totally unrelated, and I was like, "Well, plus Bill Cosby is like in jail for no good reason, completely innocent."
Sam
And
was
it-
like, whoa, what?
There was just like little head explode emojis going off everywhere. And it's like, what?
It was
What?
hilarious.
Does everybody not know that? It's like, well, we know that, but we can't say it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying he was innocent. I'm saying that he was false. He was convicted in violation of every law, and he was convicted of something he didn't do. He
Right.
did something.
Oh,
But
I
he was
for
not
sure
convicted
think
of
he
what-
was raping and drugging chicks.
He
For
was
sure.
not. He was not.
Oh, what was he doing
No.
then?
He had stockpiled Quaaludes after they became illegal. And I remember because I have 8 brothers and sisters who Quaaludes were legendary. People like remember.
Right. Yeah,
when
no, I
they
know.
were
Wolf of Wall
okay.
Street. I get it.
So people liked them. Yes,
Yeah.
right. People liked them. So he stockpiled them because they had so much value. And he would offer them to people and they would go to his apartment or house or room or whatever and take them and drink wine. And he intentionally did that so that he could seduce them, which he did. But he was not slipping people's roofies and raping them.
That's
And
one step below rape.
right. And the conviction, the sentence is a lot different.
Holy Christ, that's still super not cool.
It's super not cool.
But that this is I think a greater point that you've made about this before is that by making it somebody like Bill Cosby, who morally you're not going to side with him. He's not likable in this context.
Sacrificial wolf.
Yes, that you can violate
wolf.
his rights and nobody will care because he is not a redeemable character in most people's eyes. So therefore, you can get away with it, taking away the rights of him, and then maybe you apply this to other people as well in the future.
First, they came for the mashers.
Yeah, like Alex Jones.
Right.
Alex Jones got kicked off. Nobody cared because so many people did not like him.
And then I got kicked off.
Right. Yeah.
Right. No, I know. You know, you guys are right. I mean, even see brain trauma.
Sorry. Are we screwing you up, Adam? Is like, did we go too far?
Nope. Hold on. You said Alex Jones. Fuck, lost it.
Got kicked off. I got kicked off like Alex Jones got kicked off. And they came for the mashers.
Yeah, if it hits me, it hits me. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Okay.
Sorry.
Anyway,
this is how my brain works now.
I hate to. I know that you don't want to be super. I know that you care about being offensive and being unjust, so I don't want to drag you into my world of casual Bill Cosby reference.
No, I don't give a shit about. Oh, I remember now. Bam, Bill Cosby brought it back. The Chris D'Elia thing.
Oh yeah,
where he never, again, creep, but never did anything. I think as far as I could tell, every time like he found out a chick's age, she was like, "Oh, I'm 17." He's like, "Oh, well, peace." And like he never and I don't agree with the power thing. Like grooming, I don't know. If you're not fucking like a 17, so essentially. His apology was awful, by the way. His apology was essentially like, I was too good looking and fucking too many chicks. I know, it was crazy. That was essentially his apology he gave. Yeah. But like the story was
like Bill Cosby.
He was like the story was, oh, he was like fucking underage chicks. And then it went from, oh no, actually he was just like talking to underage chicks. Then it was actually he was grooming underage chicks. And I was like, all right, well, how many times are we gonna move this goalpost?
But you know where the grooming part came from, I think anyway. Is he played a character that was a pedophile who groomed children on that on some Netflix show. I can't remember what the name of it was.
On the show You.
Yeah, that's right. You.
Was this whole thing a psyop, Binkley, or is this a real story?
No. What he was doing, because before he has a fiance and he has a kid now, but before, let's be honest, he's a gigantic headlining comic, multiple Netflix specials. He's a star. He's a good-looking young dude. Chicks, like if you talk to other comics who know him, like when he was at the Comedy Store, he's a regular at the Comedy Store. They would say like girls would come out in packs just to try to fuck Chris D'Elia. Like it's not like they weren't fucking around.
I believe
yeah. So he would just roll into towns, open up his DMs, and be like, "Who am I gonna fuck?" It was that's what it was. But he would message a lot. He would mention like 50 girls.
Oh.
So all these girls who message him, probably some of them are probably 16, 17. Like, I love your comedy. And he just sees a picture. He's like, and let's be honest, I sometimes chaperone prom with
swipe right.
Sometimes I chaperone prom with my wife, and I'm like, who's that teacher? She's like, that's a student. I'm like, well, okay.
Yeah.
25.
They look. There are kids that look just way too old. That's why I used to bet you're crazy to go be a high school teacher, because I see these stories with these guys. They'll be in their mid 20s or maybe early 30s, and they end up getting in some weird sex thing with a student, and then the student looks like she's 25 years old, and it's like that. Don't go be a teacher.
The difference is though, that's a student, and you're still doing something morally wrong. The difference, I think, the thing with D'Elia is he's just seeing a picture. He's not fucking doing research. He's getting 100 fucking DMs a city. You think he's going like, let me see her background. So he was messaging him back and being like, hey, come to my hotel room. Let's make out. He was being very open and honest. But some girls be like, hey, I'm 17, and he'd be like, okay, well, peace. Or like hit me up when you're 18.
So what's grooming?
Apparently, grooming is like you're like an underage girl who might be into you. You're like, hey, you're talking to her.
Birthday?
Yeah, you're like, hey, when you're 18, hit me up. Hey, I can't do anything now, but soon. Which is again, it's fucking creepy. Yeah. I'm not. I wouldn't do that. I do think it's creepy, but like,
but
it's not illegal though. It's not legal though. Right? It's not
illegal. Civil law and moral law.
Exactly.
What Bill Cosby was doing was disgusting, and maybe the women who cooperated weren't, cautious enough, or I don't know how one could have helped their daughters guard against a guy like that. But they ended up letting their feet walk into his apartment alone. And that is a dangerous thing. And then you look at what morality is there for, and morality is to pressure people into doing things that are better for their higher selves, I think. And even if you want to say then society too, but the law is not for that. Putting people in jail is not for that.
Right. No, I agree. And that's what I was saying. I was like, well, I mean, yeah, he's creepy for doing that, but he didn't seem like he did anything illegal. So why are we fucking canceling Chris D'Elia?
And I kind of feel like we also have spent the last 50 years tearing down standards of sexual morality. I don't care. I'm not like a crusader for sexual morality. I'm just saying society has prepared us to not judge each other for any kind of sex stuff. And I think that all these people are being kind of post facto. It's almost like a post facto law that changed after your behavior.
It's this lingering hashtag Me Too thing also, where it when everybody's getting accused of everything, then anybody can just jump in and make accusations. Maybe they're true, maybe they're not, but it opens the door for charlatans to take advantage of it. Try to get money, try to get somebody to pay him off to shut up.
Well, that's what happened to Bill Cosby. That Andrea Constant, the prosecutor said there just isn't enough there. They had a witness who said that she was going to set Cosby up. And then so he didn't have the criminal case, and then he just didn't want the trouble apparently, so he went along with the civil case. He was deposed and gave an honest deposition based on the prosecutor assuring him that he would not be prosecuted, so he gave up his Fifth Amendment. And then those are the words that after it was a mistrial and they changed the statutes of limitations, that's when the jury said that it was only after that information was introduced did they decide to convict him. But anyway, sorry.
The best part.
I feel bad that
he got convicted in the county next to me. I'm in Bucks County.
Oh, really?
He got convicted in Montgomery County, I believe.
Yeah, I don't think it's
Montgomery
done
County, I believe.
I don't think it's done in the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania. I wouldn't be surprised if his conviction gets overturned.
Yeah, I think the girl was at Temple University. I think she either worked there or went there.
That would be Philly, but I'm pretty sure his court was in Montgomery County, and I'm in Bucks. Bucks and Montgomery are like, I mean, I'm like 45, I'm like an hour from like that courthouse, but we are neighboring counties though, which is interesting.
Keep us posted on the Supreme Court.
I was like, why the fuck is he here?
Development.
So
it's not done yet.
The best part of the entire Bill Cosby story is the way that he defends himself.
Oh my gosh. Yes, of course.
One of the ways he defends himself is he's done this multiple times, but the first time I noticed it was he retweeted a tweet that Louis Farrakhan tweeted. And he said, "Thanks, Lou." And he had an exclamation point. And then you click on the video of the tweet that Farrakhan put out there. And it was a video of Louis Farrakhan talking to a congregation of women saying, "Ladies, Bill Cosby don't need no Quaaludes to have sex with you. He's powerful." And Bill Cosby retweets this. "Thank you. See, I'm innocent." I mean, what?
I mean, it's horrible. So
there's no way he watched that video.
I think he did. So this is why I coined the expression sacrificial wolf, because a sacrificial lamb, yeah, you get that. But instead, they take the rights away from people who are totally unsympathetic, like Bill Cosby, so that you don't care. And Alex Jones, they are sacrificial wolves, and he plays right into that. So I don't have any sympathy for him, but you got to defend the letter of the law, because
that's the thing all the time. Right.
If you don't, they use it selectively. That's the problem. So the John Corzine never even stood trial. Bill Cosby's in jail. Why? Because of the political things he says, and because he was about to get another show. That's why he's in jail.
Right. Well, that's always what I say about I'm like, well, yeah, that's why discrimination laws shouldn't exist. I'm like, and people are like, oh, you want to be like, you hate black people? I'm like, no, idiot. It's because I'm like, if you can't, you know, if you can't choose your own business, what the fuck you want? You know, who are you to like? Why is the government choosing who you can't have in your own business if you work your whole life for that business? I'm like, no, of course. I think it's morally reprehensible to tell a black person you can't come to your
Right.
store, but that's not my job to legally tell you.
And now that
Like, yeah,
everything is
I wouldn't
online,
associate with you, but that's not, yeah, that's me.
now that everything's online, that is an easily avoidable situation. So they're going to have to move the goalpost again, which they always do.
Right.
But Binkley, I never
Yeah.
got to ask you why you went into comedy and if you feel like it's changed, or I just want a little overview. I want to lighten it up.
I've been into comedy since I was a kid. I used to write when I was in high school. I would do jokes at the lunch table, and so I've always just been into it. I've Seinfeld was one of my favorites as a kid. Yeah, I've always loved comedy. I've always loved making people laugh and just playing around and goofing off. And
Could you
so
do the best of your comedy? Do you think that it would still fly today?
a lot of it, no, probably not.
Really?
So some of it, well, I'd say this: I probably wouldn't do it today. Some of it I wouldn't do today
But I mean,
because
it's not like you are radical or controversial or anything like that, is it?
no, it's well, some of it, just stuff that I did when I first started. It was, I think people tend to be a little more, you're stretching you're finding your boundaries a little bit when you first start. So you go too big, too small, and you too controversial, too whatever. And some stuff I would like, I used to, this is not, I never really, it's hard to do jokes that you don't like. You have to really like your material to deliver it well. But there is a joke that I would do occasionally just because honestly, I would keep doing it just to see if it still worked, because it always surprised me how well it worked. And this was probably 12 years ago. And it was just about, they're thinking about building a wall between the United States and Mexico. And I would just pause for a moment because I've never seen a Mexican with a ladder. That was the whole joke. And I would get applause breaks for that joke. But I didn't even consider that a joke, really. I'm just like a kind of a sarcastic comment. But doing that today, I think people would probably get mad. They'd probably see it as, yeah.
Even though it doesn't really mean anything.
It means nothing. It's
means
stupid.
nothing.
It's just a
Yeah, but
fleeting
I
thought,
agree with
really.
you.
And
People
some
just
other
hear
jokes.
people see
Yeah.
a white guy saying Mexican, they're like,
Right.
no, that's it. That's
Absolutely.
it. They don't.
And
There's no like nuance anymore.
yeah, so yeah, a lot of those, it was easier back when I was doing comedy a lot, doing improv and comedy a lot. This clear political divide in this PC, I mean, there's definitely PC culture, but it wasn't so clear where like you could recognize the trick. Everybody knew the words you're not supposed to say. Everybody knew what you're supposed to be outraged at, what topics. It was, you could be controversial, 10 years ago and not worry about someone going through all your old tweets and trying to ruin your life afterwards, or people getting mad at you. Today, I think it's segmented off. I think people are gonna have to know their crowds. So I think,
Well, that's what I was thinking
Yeah.
before. Like, you've got to, it's okay if you're in a silo, if you're preaching to the choir, but then it really loses all cultural power.
Well,
Yeah,
echo chambers are bad no matter what. I think.
say it again.
Like echo chambers are bad, I think,
Yeah.
no matter what.
Totally.
There's no point to it. It's masturbation. Speaking of
But-
which, I'd like to go back to Sam Kinison's old work and see if, haven't listened to Sam Kinison basically since he died. I bet it would stand the test of
Oh,
time.
he had a lot of anti-gay stuff.
Oh, really?
Oh, he was homophobic as fuck.
Oh, really?
Super.
Oh, well, then
Yeah.
forget it.
No
Yeah.
way.
Dave Chappelle has a lot of stuff like that from the Chappelle show.
Is it
And
homophobic
it's
or is it?
No,
for
he
Chappelle?
definitely. No. Oh, I don't know about Chappelle. Kinnison, definitely. I think he hated
Yes,
gay people.
yes, okay,
yeah. I don't think Chappelle hated gay
He doesn't
people,
give a
but
fuck.
yeah, he just
No,
he just comments.
observational is different from hating.
Yes. No, like Kinnison
Right.
has that bit about like he doesn't understand necrophilia. He's like, imagine being a dead guy. He's like, oh, here I am being dead. He's like, hey, what's that? What's that in my ass? Like he has that whole bit. And I'm like, I don't even know if that would work today. Because people be like, well, you can't fuck dead bodies. Like, it's like,
Well,
yeah, no
I
shit.
mean, this is the thing. It's like I told somebody real liberal once. I said, it was a long time ago. and it was a joke. I said, "What does Ted Kennedy have that Bill Clinton wants?" And this is when the Jennifer Flowers scandal of Bill Clinton's mistress
Okay.
was ruining his presidential
A
campaign.
car accident.
I'm older than you. Yeah, a dead girlfriend.
No.
And I literally, like, I was at Stanford Law School, which was very liberal, and the I told some guy, and he was like totally deadpan, and I said, "What? That wasn't funny? Did that offend you?" And he said, "No, but it could offend somebody." I said, "Well,
Yeah, I think
you
I
only
found the
offend
person
people
looking at him.
who wish their girlfriend was dead. Like, why is that? Why is
Right.
that offensive? You can't necrophilia. Like, are we offending corpses? Like,
Right.
or
Dude.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't-
for necrophiliacs? Is it not
comedy's
okay to-
supposed to offend a little bit. It's supposed to go up and it's supposed to make people think about things differently
Yeah.
and stretch the bounds of norms and stuff like that. So this idea that everybody is just ready to be offended about what am I going to be offended about today? It's just
Yes,
it's
that's
absurd
where
and
they
it's
get their
exhausting for
passion.
them.
exhausting.
That's
Like-
the dopamine hit. They
Yeah,
want to be
right.
a little
Michael
bit pissed.
Malice said it the best on Rogan not too long ago, and is he's like, it gives low status people the chance to feel good about themselves. And I was like, fuck,
Yeah.
that's it. That's exactly
is-
it. That's exactly the feeling that they get. It's a bunch of, and then like, I'm just parodying what he said, but like, it's people who own nothing, don't have, maybe in a relationship, but who gives a fuck, right? Like no real job, again, no real self-worth. Maybe their career is shit, but they get to wear a fucking mask, or they get to fucking, like, be like, you said a bad joke, Pat, I'm great. It's like you would be dead 50 years ago, but because of technology and society today,
Right.
you're still alive. That's it. And if you say
Yeah.
that, you're an asshole. If I tell people
Right.
that, I'm a fucking asshole. If I go, you're only alive because it's 2021. I'm like, you'd be dead if it was 1902, you fucking loser. I'm like, you don't have anything of value, but you think you do. It's like whatever. I know you.
That's a good point. No, that's a good point. I try not to listen to. I never listen to that stuff, Michael Malice, whatever, because I don't want to have other people's ideas, really good ideas, be in the front of my brain. I need to like keep that empty so that if I have any good ideas, so
and it
I
was a
always
clip
miss
I
this
heard
stuff.
too. I didn't even know why. It was a clip I heard on fucking TikTok. I was like, damn it.
Oh,
But also though,
God.
but he said, like, I was always trying to find a way to kind of describe that, and that's it. So I don't give a fuck that I saw
No,
it. That was a
he
great
Yeah.
nails
way
it.
to-
He
yeah.
nails stuff. When
I
when
saw
it
that
finally
tweet.
gets
He
to me,
tweeted
it's-
that also, and
Yeah.
when I saw
Yeah.
that as well, and I had that same feeling. I
You
wish I
gotta-
would have thought to say it.
Right, because it was like
that
I
way.
was always trying to be like, well, you guys are stupid. That's not it, though. That was it.
But
Like,
that's what
Yeah.
makes
right.
him such a genius, is that he can put his fingers on that stuff and articulate it, which is the same thing about comedy and even literature. Like, I remember John Taylor Gatto said, you think you want to crack the code, you just read nonfiction and history and just all these like dig in. He said, but literature that stands the test of time has, even if it just elicited or pulled out a single human characteristic that had been previously unidentified, it really enhances your understanding of the world and your community. And I think that is what really good comedy that stands the test of time does. So let's hope that it doesn't die of COVID and racism.
It won't die.
It won't die. It'll come.
It'll emerge definitely. I honestly think for people who, at least people that I know who are like in the closet libertarians or Republicans, but they're in the acting and comedy community,
Mhm.
and they don't ever really tell people what their real beliefs are, except to like me and one other person they know. And I think that there's going to be more opportunities for people like that to actually express their true beliefs, because even while the fragmentation is not good overall, that does open it up for, okay, you don't necessarily have to only play to liberal type audiences. There's these audiences aren't getting the type of comedy or entertainment from television or the internet, so you can go to them.
There will be a stage in the tunnel.
Yes, there will be. I want to hear if you have any heckling stories that are fun. I'll tell you one of mine, and so give you a chance to think about it. I'm not going to do the joke, but I used to do another joke that was insensitive at the time. And if I did it right now, that people would probably boo me off the stage. But it was about the ITT Tech commercials from a while ago, and it's just how they put these bumps. I graduated valedictorian ITT Tech, the biggest idiot in the world, just coming promoting the fucking thing. And I would talk about how when you graduated from ITT Tech, you get your degree, and everybody's wearing a headgear. All the spots are handicap spots in the parking lot. It is just real. I was just over the top about how stupid the people that go to ITT Tech are.
Yes.
And because I made the comment about every parking spot in the parking lot at ITT Tech being a handicap parking spot, I started getting heckled from the crowd, and
Really?
I knew who the guy was. I knew it. I realized after the fact who it was. It was a guy that I had done improv with who is handicapped. He had, I can't remember what he has, but he walks with the limp. He's noticeably handicapped.
Not to cut your story off, Brad, but like real quick, as a improv performer himself, he should know not to fucking heckle. That actually this story just pisses me off now.
No, yeah, I know. I was at an improv stand-up theater, so there was a lot of that going on.
I would be like, hey, if I knew that, I would have words with him. And I don't give a fuck handicap or not. I'm like, hey man, you're a fucking performer. If you do that again, I'm fucking you up. And I don't give a fuck how handicapped. I'll make you more handicapped. Crazy. You don't do that.
I did go talk to him afterwards.
That's crazy.
After I talked to him, and April Fool's Day was coming up, so I grabbed him. His name was Benji, and I don't know why I wanted to do an April Fool's Day joke that was going to make me the butt of the joke, but I just wanted to mess with people. And I was like, come back here it was going to be on Tuesday, and I have a plan, and here's what we're going to do. And so I set this thing up, and it was a big crowd, and I was doing stand up, and he was out in the crowd, and I was like, I'm going to do that joke again. You start heckling me again, and then you get up, because he's noticeably, I mean, he's a handicapped person, walks with a cane and like moves slowly and awkwardly. I was like, then you gimp your ass up to the stage like you're going to fucking beat my ass. and we'll stage a fight. And we'll just fucking see what happens in the crowd. And we did. And I got up there and I got in the middle of the joke. He started heckling me like we planned. And I brought like some stuff for him to throw at me.
Did you win the fight? Did you let him win? Or
well, what happened was is I told nobody else there that this was happening. Because I wanted to see everybody fucking lose their shit. And so he starts heckling and throwing shit up at me. And I was like, no, come on, man. That's and then he starts like really challenging me, then gets up, starts going, I'm going to whip your ass. And I'm like, dude, I'm not going to fight a handicapped person, dude. And I like picked up the mic stand. I was like, dude, don't make me fight a handicapped person. He's coming at me, throwing shit. And then I was about to stop it and say April Fool's, everybody. But before I could do that, the host of the show was so fucking terrified that I was really about to fist fight a handicapped guy that he dove up on stage and swooped the mic out of it. And he goes, oh, April Fool's. Ha. And I was like, yeah, actually, it is April Fool's joke.
Oh my God. Oh, so he ruined your joke.
Yeah. Well, he thought he was saving everything because he thought it was real.
That's a great April Fool's joke.
Yeah, it worked. It was fun.
You believe it or not, I really never have been really heckled, really.
Wow.
How is that
in
possible?
my years of comedy.
That's a job
there's
for
not
Binkley.
a lot.
He likes to heckle.
Well, no, I don't
I've had
heckle
people
unless it's baseball game.
I've had people
Little League baseball games.
I've had people like talk during my set, and I've had to like talk to people, but like as far as like a full on like fuck you, man.
You suck.
Never.
Yeah, I've never
really
had that.
never have.
You really don't see a lot of that. There's really not too much of that happens. There are obnoxious drunks sometimes. Well, yeah, probably definitely. So, have you ever seen the clip of
Yes,
Bill Burr and
Bill
Camden.
Hicks? Bill Hicks
the-
going off on the woman, just losing his shit.
Mhm.
Monica, everybody watching, I'll find a link to this and I'll
just
put it
for
in there.
talking or for heckling?
She was being loud, but it did not merit the response that he gave. But I used to show this clip to people who did stand-up people. The dogs are going crazy. Hold on one second. Sorry.
We got Adam, why don't you tell us how people can find you, and then Binkley can fill it. All right, Binkley, finish your story.
I would show this clip to people because it was an excellent example of somebody completely losing their shit and just massively, but then having a realization in the middle of losing their shit of of how the audience probably perceives him, and then recovering and making it hilarious. Still, he goes on this like this. I mean, the woman goes, "You suck," and Bill Hicks is like, he tries to go through it, and then he just stops, and he was like, you see him pause, and he just starts going, "You fucking cunt!
Yeah,
You should fucking die, cunt!"
Yeah.
I mean, he's just losing it, and he starts dancing around the stage. "I'm a fucking dumb fat cunt."
Yeah.
And
Oh gosh, you completely blew up your scene there, buddy. What, how do you turn it around?
he turned it around. Can you hear me?
Yeah. No, you're on the wrong mic now.
You're on the wrong
but
mic
that's okay.
though. Yeah, you're on the
Doesn't
wrong mic.
All right, I'll change it. Hold on one sec.
There you go.
And now it sounds right.
You're good.
See, that's what happens with
It's good. It's good. Go.
It's good. You're good.
Guys, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, he's gonna have to edit this.
Sorry about that. But that's what he was doing though. So like he like was really, shit was going crazy. And then he sat down, and I can't remember his exact words, but it took like just some awkward silence. And he was like something like, "I really lost it on that one." He just acknowledged the moment of the situation. He just called out that he really kind of just lost it there and went over the top. And he's like, you guys probably think I'm working on a new bit. Bill, I don't know about that joke where you're stomp around the stage, marching, calling a woman a fat cunt the whole time. I don't know if that material is really going to work for you, Bill. And then he just goes on does another 2 minutes just mocking himself.
Yeah.
The breakdown. It's brilliant in my opinion.
No wonder they killed him.
Yeah, right. And real quick, I know we got to wrap up. But one of the best ones I've ever seen was Bill Burr, the Opie and Anthony Traveling Virus Tour, 2007 or 6, maybe a little earlier than that. Camden, New Jersey. The crowd was super drunk and disorderly. This is before Bill Burr is who he is now, and he was getting fucking heckled. And he's like, "You know what? Nah, fuck you. I'm staying up here and doing my whole entire time." And he started trashing the city of Philadelphia so badly to their faces, where they turned it around and they loved him, because the whole time he'd be like, "And what else is in your fucking city? Oh, you have a statue of Rocky, but not Joe Frazier, who's from here because he's black and he can't handle that." He's like, "Fuck you." And he looks down at the time. He's like, 8 more fucking minutes.
Oh
and he
my
and he did the whole time. At the end of the crowd, I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, he got
like,
a standing
it was amazing.
ovation.
It was some of that. Go watch that.
It's legendary. I mean, they start off booing him and he's just fighting with him, but you slowly see he wins them over because he just keeps
amazing.
pushing it and pushing it. It's amazing.
He wins them over by making fun of them.
Yeah.
Like
because trash comedy. Come on, you have to understand. Trash comedy fans like me, who are like, I'm like one of those people also. Like, we like that shit. Like, oh, give it us. Yeah, fucking be honest. Roast us. We like that. It's like it is what it is.
Well, he must have been right.
Oh, he was.
He was. He absolutely was. Yeah.
He was right. I know we got to go. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
No, it's fine. No, I just try to keep it tight. But and I got something to do. But so why don't you tell people, Adam, how they can find you? Maybe live and in person, if that's really a thing anymore,
right.
And also some of what they can find you online.
Any shows I have, you guys are gonna have to check me out. I post everything on my social, so just check me out.
What's your social stuff?
Yeah, at Adam Nutter on Twitter and Instagram, and Adam Nutter Comedy on Facebook and TikTok. So I post all my show dates there. I don't have anything right now. Oh, I do tonight, but that's, I mean,
sorry, you should probably keep track of that because it kind of is tonight almost.
It's tonight, yeah, it's tonight, but that doesn't matter for people listening, really. So it's like,
it's live.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but they're already sold out, so it doesn't matter. So for any future stuff, come on out. And then my podcast, Cult of Us, I do with my good friend Neil Woods, my comedy podcast. But I am starting, and so I want to talk to you about off air real quick. I'm starting my individual libertarian solo podcast. I'm calling it The Porcupine.
Perfect. Good name.
Yeah, I checked. No one else has that name. So
that's
amazing.
That is good.
So I'm launching that soon. I'm just starting to get guests. So I just want to, it's not gonna be live.
Right
I'm not doing live episodes and recording it. So that will be very soon, and within March, for sure, April. Be on the lookout. But again, follow me on social for that, and droptent.com for all the other stuff.
What's droptent.com?
Oh, Drop Tent, my podcast network that I co-own with my buddy Neil.
Oh, okay.
I
So you do
Cult of Us is
Cult of Us on there. You're gonna do Porcupine on there. and
I
it's
do
called
Slash
Drop
Six
10.
Sports on there, which is my sports podcast. But I do a lot of I do. But then we
Fun.
have other podcasts on the network too.
Oh,
The other
great.
other comics, other
Nice.
non-comics. We have my friend Anna who's on my tattoos. She's starting a podcast with her friend. They're doing like a horror tattoo podcast. So
That's
like
cool.
yeah, there's a lot of
Really?
cool podcasts on the network that you guys can check out. So droptent.com. I'll take you there and take you to all the podcasts.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Sounds fun. Sounds a lot of interesting stuff.
Thank
All
you.
right, well, that was such a refreshing change of pace. I really wanted to. I knew hanging out with you guys this afternoon would be uplifting and cheerful and wash my brain out of the week of you don't know what a grind it is to spend hours every day reading the headlines and just I don't know. I feel like I want to take a news holiday, but that's not
yeah.
happening anytime soon. So this is like a little mental break for us. So thank you very much for being
Thanks
here.
for joining
Thanks
us,
for
man.
having
I
me.
enjoyed it. Yeah.
Thank you.
And-
I enjoyed it too.
Thanks for those who could catch it live on Rockfin, but the video is going to stay up on Rockfin, and then we're going to put the audio into our propaganda report feed probably one weekend. So it's a little early release for
This-
Rockfin.
Was our first live show on Rockfin.
Was it really? We had some.
We've had a
failed
couple live
attempts in the
experiments, but
past.
this was our first successful, I would say, live show on Rockfin.
So in the future, we will actually be able to invite people and not fear that we'll be sitting here for 45 minutes, whatever. Last time we tried to do it, it was a cocktail party. So by the time it actually went live or whatever, I was like not half in the bag. I was fully
Full on
in the bag. So I was like, I'm never doing another Rockfin live. It's not going to work, but it worked perfectly. Thank you. Thank you, Binkley, for your cracking the code on that.
Yeah, thank y'all for joining, for putting it together, Monica, and for joining
There
us,
you go.
Adam.
Yes.
Thank
You
you.
have a
okay.
great show tonight, man. Hope you kill it.
Yeah,
you,
right
thank you,
on.
thank you,
Break a
thank you.
leg.
Thank you.
See y'all later.
Later.
Later.